In this session, we'll be thinking about the impact of values and beliefs and how you can elicit them from a client or from someone you're modelling. So the objectives for this session are that by the end of it, you'll be able to define values and beliefs, assess the impact of values and beliefs on performance, and elicit values and key beliefs from a model. Values are the basis of how we live our lives. Simply put, they are what's important to us. They govern all our beliefs and behaviours. Values are the things we'll invest our time, energy and resources to achieve or to avoid. So it may be useful for you to think about what's important to you about the studying you're doing at the moment. Your answer to that question will be the values attached to studying, and that will be why you're investing your time and energy doing this program. Values are what we move toward or away from. So if you have a value of respect, for example, then you may move towards that by paying full attention to what a work colleague has to say to you. Or you may put that value into action by moving away from something you don't want to have happen. So you may show your respect by not upsetting them by doing something you know they don't like. So values are how we make judgments about what is right or wrong, what is good or bad. When you're studying, what do you think is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do? What do you think is good to do and what do you think is bad to do? Those are your values about studying. When our values are met, we'll feel satisfied. When we're not met, we feel dissatisfied and violated, and we'll often have an emotional response. So if we go back to the context of studying, then when you're studying and it's in accordance to those things that you think are important, you will feel good about it. But if, for example, you are working on a joint assignment with someone else, and they're not doing their part of the project in line with what they'd promised, that may violate your value of fairness, and you may feel angry or frustrated with them. So values have two main purposes. Firstly, they are what motivates us to do what we do. So I'm motivated to my work because of the value I place on learning and development. It's so important to me that I give a great deal of my time and energy to developing myself and helping others to grow and learn. It is what motivates me to do what I do. In coaching, you'll want to listen out for what it is that your client values in the context in which you're working, because it will be those things that are motivating them to behave in the way that they do. It will be their values that are driving their actions. And sometimes they may have a conflict in their values, and that may be what is preventing them from moving forward at the moment. So, for example, someone may think that achieving success at work is very important, and then they may also be thinking that spending time with their family is very important. And at the moment, for them, there appears to be a conflict between these two things. So if you are coaching someone like this, you'll want to discover what their values are and where the conflict is taking place. Secondly, values enable us to evaluate and make judgments about what we've done. So our values are what lets us know whether we've done something right or wrong, good or bad. So last week I was talking to someone who was very upset with herself because she had been late to a meeting with a colleague, and that had violated her value of respect. Equally, I coached someone who was telling me about how pleased they were because they'd approached a person that they'd had problems with and had been open with the person about what was happening and how they were feeling. That had met their value of honesty. So values motivate us and they allow us to evaluate what we do. Beliefs are linked to values. Beliefs are those things that we hold to be true. We will hold a set of beliefs around each of our values. These are known as belief systems. Two people may have the same value of success, and yet one person may hold the belief that success is achieved through hard work, and another may believe that achieving your goals in the most elegant way makes you a success. When you're coaching, you'll want to explore these beliefs with your client. Often with our beliefs, they are so unconscious or they've been held for such a long time that we just accept them as being true and rarely challenge them. And yet they have a large impact on our results and our behaviour. I was working with someone who would book a holiday and then spend time having booked the holiday feeling bad about having spent the money in that way, and going over all the ways that they could have spent the money which may have been less frivolous in their model of the world. So they would regret booking the holiday, and then that impacted on their enjoyment of the whole holiday experience. It turned out to be based on a belief that they had that holidays were only valid if you were exhausted and worn out. If this were proving to be a problem for the person and they asked for coaching, then you would want to discover what the belief was and challenge it in order to help them overcome the problem. I had an email from a fellow coach that had this sentence in it: "Coaching means that I can make a large contribution to the well-being of everyone in the team." That is a belief that is driving them to use coaching. So our values and beliefs are drivers of our actions and will be the way we achieve what we achieve. And so, as a coach, will be something you'll want to be aware of and investigate with your client. What will often happen is that people will have a set of values around a particular context in their lives. For example, they will have a set of values around work, and then attached to each of these values will be a set of beliefs. So someone may place a value on achievement at work, and surrounding that are attached a set of beliefs such as: you have to work hard to achieve anything, the longer you work the more you achieve, the more you work as a team the more you will achieve, etc. As you can see, those beliefs will direct this person to work in a particular way. Someone else with a different set of values would work in a completely different way. People will have a hierarchy of values. A value will be more or less important than another value, and so decisions and actions will be taken based on priority. For example, if someone's value of health is higher on their hierarchy than success, then this person may choose physical activities which enhance their health rather than activities that give them the opportunity to compete and win. A person will act to satisfy their most important value first and then the second most important, etc. And this is all largely an unconscious process and is going on all the time. That's wonderful when the person's hierarchy is working well for them. And it's something that you may want to make conscious so that your client can explore what is happening when you're coaching them about a problem that they have. Here is an exercise to help you think about the importance of values. First of all, why would eliciting someone's values be important for modelling excellence? Write down your answers. As a coach, why would you want to discover what values your client has around a particular situation or context? And thirdly, what would be the impact of conflict between a person's values and the values of an organisation in which they work? Write down your answers to all of those. So let's start to think about how you can find out what someone's values are and what is their hierarchy. Firstly, you'll want to think about what context or contexts you'll want to explore with your client. Here are some that may be useful: career or profession, family, relationship, personal growth, health and fitness, and spirituality. So in the context in which you're modelling someone or helping a client, you'll want to elicit their values. This process involves firstly finding out values that are operating in that context, and then putting them into a hierarchy and then checking the order of the hierarchy. So when you're eliciting someone's values, the question to ask is what's important, significant or relevant to you about, and then you'll want to give them the context, either your work or your relationship, or maybe it's a particular problem that they have. Or if you're modelling someone, it'll be the context in which they do the task that you are modelling. And then write down what they say in their words. And then keep on asking, and what else is important to you about, until they run out of ideas. And you'll want to write them all down. Then you will have a list of values, and you'll want to put the values into a hierarchy. If you are doing this in coaching and working with a client, then this is a time when you'll want to pay great attention to your client and notice if they're talking about conflicts in their values, or ones that are more connected to the situation that you're helping them to resolve. You will ask, of these values, which one is most important to you? If you could have only one of these values to run the entire context of your life, which one would it be? And then when you've got that one, you will ask them, well, assuming you've already got whatever value it is they've just told you, and you could only have one more, which one would it be? And then you would ask them, well, assuming that you have, and then you'd give them the two that they've already chosen, if you could only have one more, which would it be? And then you carry on with that last question until all the values have been put in their order of importance and they are happy with the list. You may find whilst you're doing this that they want to change some of the original ones they said. Perhaps there are two which, when they think about ordering them, mean the same, and that will be fine. And you will end up with a numbered list of values in order of importance to that person. Here is an exercise for you to practice eliciting values.